This is AV SuperFriends Perspectives, a collection of interviews, discussions, and presentations from conferences, trade shows, and events that just don't fit either of the other two shows. Some are long, some are short, but they'll all have valuable insights, useful information, or just good conversation with thought leaders and subject matter experts. And now, the AV SuperFriends.
Still day one, or wherever this is, InfoComm 26. And we had an amazing opportunity, and if I can just be so self-indulging for a moment, to sit down with what I think is one of the most disruptive, I don't know if it's a technology or what it may be, but we're here with Aaron Todd from OpenAVC, and to me this is an amazing opportunity. Aaron, thank you for taking some time.
Absolutely.
Just to go through, because I think this platform and what you're doing, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but...
Well, let's back up a little bit.
Yeah, go ahead. You just step on me, Jimmy. You know how these things go.
So, but you skipped right over the part of, we're here with Aaron Todd from OpenAVC.
Yep.
And we were super intrigued. And since we're nerdy, we went straight to the nerdism.
Yep.
I guess, Aaron, if you just take a minute, just 20 seconds, and tell us OpenAVC. This is new for a lot of people in our industry. And I think once you start talking about it, it's not going to be new for long. It will be like, oh my gosh, let's check this out.
Gotcha.
So what is OpenAVC?
So OpenAVC is it's a platform-agnostic, open AV control platform. It's meant for professional AV. I'd probably say it's more geared towards installed type systems rather than production type systems. So I'd say the target is universities and that type of thing. It is what the Crestrons, the Extrons, the AMX. It is what they typically would lock you into a box and lock you into a platform, a control surface. And this is trying to do the opposite of that, and that is make it agnostic when it comes to the hardware. So running on Linux, running on Windows, running on whatever. I have it running on Android now. Is whatever platform, and then whatever control surfaces we can either build a plugin for or browser-based UI.
So how did you end up here? I mean, so just a little like. Mark and I have been tinkering with crap for years. Be like, well, have you seen this thing? Or how about this? Well, if we take the button panel,
break all this piece off and do this.
That's popular with gaming. If we take this and you do this, and then can it do this? And no, how did you get here? Why start down this path? Is it a big middle finger to the Trons?
Well,
because we're big fans of middle fingers to the Trons.
I guess what kind of started me here is, I've been in AV since, actually the year 2000. For 2 years, I went to college. I came back. Since 2008, I've been with the same integrator. In 2008, we started doing control systems. I was the programmer for a lot of years. I backed off programming and went to design, and whenever you're not doing it every day, you lose some of it.
Sure.
And recently, just because of changes in our company, I needed to get back into doing some programming, and I came back, and everything's still the same, still locked in.
It's never changing.
And
It's been 20 years, and you're still using the same thing.
Yeah, right. And I said, somebody has got to have something better, and that's really what drove me down this path of seeing what I could create.
And I think that's such a compelling story, because I've talked about it before. I think right now, where we are in kind of the innovation cycle of companies and capabilities, we're in this age where you can just build the thing you want. Right? You don't have to just take what the big companies are selling. And I saw that kind of in that ethos under the hood for OpenAVC. I'm like, this is a company that said, you know what? hold my beer, I'm just going to build this thing. When I think Jamie and I had that philosophical approach often where it's like, don't tell me I can't do this because we're going to figure out a way to do it. And I saw that and I was like, wow, pay attention to this story because I think there's more going on here than just, oh, let me replace my Tron. I think you have this really amazing kind of ethic about like, we're going to do it. We're not going to wait for permission. We're just going to do this.
Yeah.
And can you kind of tell me about like, what is like the vision? What's the vision for OpenAVC? Kind of like where you are now, but like where do you see this kind of going and kind of what's on the horizon?
Let me think for a second.
So I think where you are currently, that kind of one-to-one, replacing your current control system. But you had mentioned the open nature and kind of how you want to position kind of.
Yeah, and that's, because you can build what you want today. There's no point in trying to close that off because someone else is just going to build it. So build something that gives a good base that you can share, and have it open, have it where anybody can examine the code. You can have your LLMs look at the code. You can have them look and build plugins, drivers, whatever you need to extend it. I really think that, and I'm not saying that, just because anybody can do it, that's the reason why it's open. I think open is very important.
I feel like this sets up that age-old conversation, the open source world versus like the sandbox philosophy, right? And I'm glad you said your LLMs and integration, because if Justin was here, he and I have been like pushing the bounds of reality when it comes to what we can do with agents and AI, and we see that underneath the hood of your platform, right? You just mentioned that, hey, we can open this up and then you could write your own drivers. You can have your LLM do these things. And like, we believe that is the future, right? The future is not lock yourself into a contract with some bespoke hardware manufacturer we see that. Is that a similar ethos, kind of how you're looking at the world moving forward?
AV control to me is a software problem. I mean, it's not, years ago it was a hardware thing, and I'd still think there are places for hardware and probably even for proprietary systems, just because there's going to be some clients in some situations where you want one throat to choke, basically. You want to say this is completely yours. With open, it's your code. You can fork the project and you have it and you have it and you have it. You can examine it, you can read it, you can see exactly what it's doing, and you can extend it. And with AV control, it's not a hard problem really to solve. I think that it's, especially with AI and LLMs, I think that it is good to have a baseline, and that's kind of what I'm hoping OpenAVC will become. I think there will be others. I know that there are other. There is OpenAV, which is another platform. So
you started down this endeavor on your own. Are you still on your own, or do you have people that are reaching out to you saying, hey man, let's be friends?
Yeah, I'm having plenty of friend conversations. And there are active contributors on it's on GitHub. Right. There are not a whole lot yet, several other contributors who have been forking and adding in code. So it officially just me, but there are others involved.
What's been the biggest challenge so far?
I would say, the thing that's lacking the most is probably driver support. And that's just because one of the things with OpenAVC I wanted to do really well was discovery of equipment on the network.
There's a problem to solve.
Yeah, and one of the ways is I'm trying to, as a part of the drivers, do a fingerprint of equipment that kind of captures what MDNS and what ports it has open, MAC addresses. It uses all these things that are actually a part of the driver And a lot of APIs, documentations, they don't put out that kind of stuff. You have to have the equipment to really to kind of probe it and get it. And there's about 80 drivers in there right now, and I think about 20 of them have been fully tested. Otherwise, I've simulated and just used documentation. So that's kind of where we're kind of, I would say, behind a little bit.
Yeah, I think time will close that gap for you, as you increase kind of awareness, and that it is possible. I mean, this is very much the art of the possible here, is how it goes. But and I think one of the intriguing pieces, and we briefly maybe touch on a little bit, is what does it take to actually run this? If I wanted to dive in here today and put something together, I think it's shocking for folks to hear. Like, this thing will run on almost anything, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. It'll run on Linux. We have a one-line installer. It'll run in Docker. We have a compose file to get it set up. It'll run on Windows. I mean, it's just an installer that will.
And does it take because this is always one of those hang-ups too. Well, do I need some kind of massive, $10 billion number crunching machine, or can it be a repurposed something?
Yeah, I have it running on an Android tablet right now. It's a full system on an Android tablet, PoE power. I was experimenting with some hardware just to see what all it could run on. So no, it doesn't take much. It's a single it's a single executable, or it's a Python backed, uses fast API, which is really can do a lot very quickly. It doesn't take a lot of processing power. Sure. So.
I like that you've gone through the steps of like what you just said. Well, it's the one line Git, right? Great, because I'm not always the best at being able to just set up and tune up some Linux box. Yeah. But I love it when somebody gives me the copy and paste line. Like, copy here, paste there, hit enter. 20 minutes later, you're good to go.
Yeah.
And so thank you for doing that for nerds like me who really want to play.
Sure.
But maybe we're not as good at programming as we wanted to be.
We also have a Raspberry Pi image too. So, and awesome. you can burn that right to an SD card, put it in a Pi, and it's off and running.
Oh, it's awesome.
Yeah.
The going back to kind of the running this, again, it's super low. And I think anybody who comes out of AV, when you've done it as many years as many people in this room have done it, I think we've all gotten to that point where we're like, I could just do this with this and this. Why do we have this mountain and stack of all this hardware when fundamentally I'm using just a really, really simple CPU?
Yeah, that's it.
Low amount of RAM or whatever it is, and just a little bit of bespoke code. It doesn't need to be that hard. And I love that you're bringing something that says, hey guys, this doesn't need to be that hard. We can do this, and you can do this with stuff you may have already invested in. So you're not having to go out and repurchase an entire stack worth of stuff. And I find value for it, especially now in higher education, and maybe institutions are looking to find ways to find cost savings. How can you stretch things out and find a way to preserve workflows and capabilities without going to have to reinvest in some other ecosystem? And I love that story. Like, extend life with your hardware, make it easy, and trust in yourself, right? And your ability to do this. So I love seeing that, and I think, like I mentioned before, I think you are, this whole take is one of the best disruptive stories moving forward. I think the leveling the playing field and people coming to the table and say, well, if you're willing to take some time, put some thought into it, you can bring a product to the market that's every bit as competitive as everything out on that floor. And I love seeing you kind of do that. And like, Jamie, I know that we have 1,000 questions, but I don't want to make it this forever thing. But I think there's such a good.
I think this leads into that next thing, right? Is that okay? Well, we've seen the links on LinkedIn or the interwebs or even our own website. I think we republished that. People may even listen to this show, right, and say, okay. Now comes the question of this. Actually, I want to toy with this. I want to play with this. So for again me. I'm like, I love the fact that I can just download it. I love the fact that it's copy and paste. I love the fact that I can just use what I already own. But where, how do I find it? Where do I find you, the website, or where do I get these things?
Just openavc.com. There's a download page that shows you can copy and paste, the one-line installer. You can download, all the executables, they're actually from the GitHub. So,
Okay.
Whenever I publish a release, all those get pushed out to the website. And then, and I didn't mention earlier, you can clone the repo, and you can run it straight from a dev version of it if you want to actually poke at the code that's running on there. That's not required for any driver work. Drivers are, and almost none of it is compiled, so you don't have to have a compiled driver. You don't have to have even a compiled panel. Like whenever you are making changes to the UI, you don't have to hit a button to compile it. It's just vanilla JavaScript and CSS basically is getting pushed to the panel. But back to what I was saying is you can get it from the website. I try to make it as easy as possible to find.
Now, for some of our listeners, I mean, they do delve into the nerdery. I mean, we try to, but we're not this level. How do those folks, like, if they're like, they found that, like, oh man, Aaron's found my passion. How did they've downloaded it, they played with it. How do they now get with you and say, hey man, I want to be a partner. I want to be
contribute to this.
A contributor. Sure. Maybe not. Maybe partner is not the right, but how do they get involved with that? Like I want to help you do drivers. I have the equipment.
Yeah.
I built this thing. How do I get with that?
So there's a Discord. You can find that on the website. And there's about 50 people in there right now. You can also open issues on the GitHub repo.
So it is an active. I mean, some of those aren't as active as we'd want, but that one's pretty active. You're always checking it.
Was that the Discord or the?
No.
Or the,
I'm saying, in my experience,
Yeah.
sometimes you get into these GitHubs or these Discords, and they're not really checked.
Yeah.
They're only active by like 2 people that aren't related to the. But it sounds like you're in there all the time.
I am. It's not super duper active yet, and that's just because.
Well, we're trying to fix that, man.
Yeah,
We're trying to make that better.
I would love that. The project is only several months old, so it's still pretty early. It's still definitely beta. I'm still finding and squishing bugs. That's why it's super helpful for people to download it and play with it, try to break it and make it do things, outside of the box maybe, and see how it breaks. And then we have a bug report form. I think that's linked on the website. I need to make sure about that because it definitely needs to be. Where you just, it doesn't have to be, code level. It can just be I was trying to do this and this happened, and that way we try to find it. And then, of course, my contact information is on the website. So.
Well, I think it's a really cool project.
I appreciate
Absolutely.
it.
I think it does have that disruption capability that we're kind of looking for, which is why we were so interested in getting you in front of us and talking it through. So I do appreciate you taking some time.
Absolutely.
And talking through this, and I hope this drives some people your direction, because I think for many of us in the industry, we are a little tired of having to buy a $7,000 box to run simple commands
Yeah, just
that I can just copy and paste out of the API and the manual.
Right.
So why am I spending so much money to do that? But
Yeah.
I think there is a break even here.
Yep.
Like people deserve money, but then it doesn't need to be that.
Yeah.
So I love that you're kind of sticking it in there and saying, hey man, let's run wild with this.
Yeah, I appreciate
Like
it.
this industry is already kind of hard doing the other stuff. Why is this hard?
Right.
Yeah,
Doesn't need
and
to
it
be.
shouldn't be. Yeah, it really shouldn't be. And that kind of brings up that there is AI tooling within the application itself.
Oh.
So it has multiple tools that it can look at different parts of the project, and then context within it to make whatever changes you want.
Oh, interesting.
So it's got that built-in kind of agentic piece where it not to say that it's fully aware, it can see what you're doing, it can bring that insight and kind of help you explore what's possible. I really love seeing that. So
Yeah.
that's awesome. Jamie, any final bits?
No, again, thanks for giving us a little bit of your time.
Absolutely.
I know it gets really busy at InfoComm.
Yeah.
Thanks for sitting down with us and kind of talking through your visions and how people can get involved. And that's really all I have for today.
Yeah. Aaron,
to do it.
thanks for coming over here and at least sitting down with us. And it was an amazing opportunity. And I think you're onto something. And I'm glad we at least got you here at the beginning.
Yeah, because next year,
Yeah.
he'll be big.
It'll be different. So,
Hope so. Yeah.
appreciate it. Thanks, Aaron.
All right, have a good show.
Well, that wraps up another episode of AV Super Friends Perspectives. If you have a perspective to share, you can contact us with questions, topic ideas, or general complaints at mailbag@avsuperfriends.com.
Nice work, everyone. Sharp broadcast. Really good. Everyone on the floor as well. Really a lot of hustle. I liked it.
The opinions expressed by the AV Super Friends are solely those of the individuals and do not represent their respective institutions, organizations, companies, or clients.